Right, school counselors and school counselors to be, I hope you guys are having a great day today. Thank you guys so much for coming to my channel, The Inspiring School Counselor. And as you guys can already tell from the title down below, we're going to be getting into an inspiring question. One of you reached out to me wanting to know a little bit more about my needs assessment and just what that looks like. And so that's what this video is going to be about today. Okay, so I'm excited to get into this with you guys. If you have not subscribed, make sure you subscribe and make sure you hit that notification bell so that you can be notified every time I upload a video. All right, you guys, let's get into it. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. We shift this over to this side. I'm actually going to do it a little bit smaller than that. That is going to be great. All right, you guys. So this is the needs assessment that I put together and I sent out this year. I actually only sent out a needs assessment to my parents. Once again, for all those that are first-time watchers, first of all, thank you guys for coming to my channel. But I am a primary school counselor, so I work with the pre-K through second graders. And so I sent this needs assessment out. It was the second week of school, and I had them, fill this out. Now, we have about 389 students at my school. However, I was only able to get, at the time, I only was able to get 185. And then I sent out another reminder to all those parents that even though it passed the deadline, which was August 12th, that they still could, get that into me. And so I actually had quite a few, a few more fill that out. So, but this is what I use, okay? And let me tell you guys, you can send out one to the teachers and to the students if you want to. I normally don't send that out to the teachers and students. Usually, I just do it with my parents. However, if it was that I want to send out to the teachers, I would usually wait a month to do that. I just think that's better because it gives the teachers time to get to know the students and kind of know what their needs are. Usually my teachers get with me whenever they see a student that is in need of individual counseling or small group type of counseling, and so they'll reach out to me. So this is what I use right here. And I have all my responses in, and that could be growing forever all the way until the end of the year. Okay, so but right now at this time I have 198 responses. And so this is just what it looks like. And so I give like a little description of it. So the purpose of this needs assessment is to gather your feedback concerning your child's needs this school year. And the feedback will help my school counselor program support your child's academic, social, and emotional needs. And then I also put in the date that they need to send it back to me and get it all filled out. All right. So that's very important because you want them to know that you are trying to use this needs assessment to support the students. And so you want to make sure that you have that date on there. However, like I have expressed in times past that, even though it's past the date, they can still fill it out. So the first thing that I wanted to make sure that I do whenever I created my needs assessment is put the child's first and last name. This is very much important, okay? Because if they don't put the first and last name, you're not going to know what, who this child is, what needs that they need, okay? So this is important for you to have, okay? Now, another thing that you can add is if it is that they already know their teacher's name, you can have a spot for that for them to put the teacher's name, so you don't have to go and do all that searching and stuff. It's already in the included in the needs assessment. And then I went ahead and I wanted to know, okay, what grade level that child was. Because I did not ask what the teacher's name was, I just decided for them to tell me what the grade level they're in. So at least if it is that I'm looking for the student, I can just, simply say, okay, they're in second grade. So that, kind of makes everything a lot better when it comes down to looking for that student. And then I started asking about, school counseling services. So for instance, what school counseling services do you feel your child could benefit from this year? And I list those. So I listed where they can have individual counseling, small group. Some of them, might feel like their child needs both of them, and so they'll click that. And then I even had some parents say that my child doesn't need neither of them, and so they would click that. Okay, but that's just good to have so that I can decipher, what students do I need to start pulling towards the beginning of the year and what students that I don't need to start pulling. And then I get into the areas of need. So I ask them, what areas does your child need help in? and they're able to click on whichever one that applies. And they can actually click on more than one. Okay. And then the next section I have is check the areas your child is in need of individual and or small group counseling services. And they can choose more than one area as well. I've had parents that just clicked all of them for their child. And that works out. And so that's the only thing that I have on my needs assessment. Now, of course, you can think of more things to put on there, and that's totally up to you. But for me, I just felt like that was very fitting for just the age group in which I work with. And then at the end, I put thank you for taking the time to fill out this needs assessment. It was very important whenever I created this to make sure that each question was required. So if you are deciding to create your own needs assessment, you want to make sure that you have every question be required for them to answer, because if not, you're going to be missing information and you're just not going to be able to have that benefit of how powerful a needs assessment can be if it is that you have them do it by option. So it's just very important to make sure that that is in there. So once my responses is generated, then I take those responses. So this is my needs assessment, and this just shows the results. This is something that I like to post on my school social media sites so that the parents are aware that, look, I'm just not having you guys fill this in for no reason. I want you guys to see, how much of a benefit this is for me. Now, at the time when they filled this out, it was 187, students that the parents filled this out for out of 389. Now, if you guys paid attention to my needs assessment that I just showed you guys, it went up, okay? So it went up to 198. And so that was me promoting it still and letting the parents know that even though it passed the date for you to fill this out, you still can, fill this out for me, and I can add your child in wherever it needs to be, okay? But I began to show them, just the amount of responses. So 26.7% of my second grade parents filled this out, 40.6% first grade parents filled this out, 20.3% kindergarten parents filled this out, and then so on, 12.3% pre-K parents that filled this out for their kids. And then I started going into the parents' perspective, and I began to talk about how, 33.2% would benefit from both individual and small group counseling, and then so on. You guys can kind of, read that. And then I began to talk about how the information that they filled out right here, it began to help me plan different whole group lessons, small groups, and individual counseling sessions. So for instance, if you guys pay attention to the one that says 73, I'm going to try to find, it says following directions. So I know that this is a big area that parents feel like their child needs help with. And of course, when you're working in a primary setting, that sounds about right. So I'm going to be actually doing lessons that's going to support whole group lessons, that's going to support following directions and teaching their kids that, and not just their kids, but I'm going to be teaching the whole school as a whole, okay? And then I can also create small groups and also take those names that the parents have filled that out, for. I can also pull those students to do individual counseling sessions. And then the next group says, what areas does your child need help in? And then a lot of it says academic. That's the most. So then I can formulate, once again, guidance lessons, small groups, and individual counseling sessions to support those students in those areas, all right? And then, of course, I say thank you, parents, for taking this time to fill this assessment out. If you didn't get a chance to fill this out, you still can. And that's why I was able to get some more. All right, you guys, so if you guys are on my YouTube channel, you go through my videos, you will see where I have one video that is titled, How to Create a Needs Assessment Using Google Forms. That's this one right here. I have my little hand going over it, okay? You are definitely going to go and watch that if you are still wanting to create a needs assessment to send out to your students, your teachers, your parents. It's never too late. I want to tell you guys that it's never too late for you to send out a needs assessment, okay? I would just prefer it not to be at the end of the year, because that's usually when kids are transitioning out to another school, and all of that stuff like that. And so, but however, still yet, it's never too late. So if you're still wanting to do that and you're wanting to create your own, it's very easy, simple. Just go and watch that video right there. I thank you guys so much for your time. I hope this was able to give you guys an insight on what I use and how I use a needs assessment to formulate my small groups, individual counseling sessions, as well as whole group lessons. Thank you guys so much for your time. If you have not subscribed, make sure you subscribe and make sure you hit the notification bell so that you can be notified every time I upload a video. I'll see you guys next time.